Welcome to Flatline to Beatline. I am your host, Nightshade. Let's do this.
Burn it down!
Let's break through the noise.
Okay.
This is episode 57. Joining me today is Michelle Forbes, Viking enthusiast, author of the book Viking Lullaby, a musician, and much more. Michelle, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And congratulations on your 1-year anniversary as well.
That's right. She spoiled the surprise. Yes, for those who don't know, this is a special episode as it is the first one on video. And this is Flatline to Beatline's 1-year anniversary episode. 1 year ago today on September 5th, 2019, I released my very first episode. So what better guest could I have on than Michelle Forbes here? So for those, these podcast interviews on video will be on my YouTube channel, and the link will be in the show notes along with all of Michelle's. And for you audio listeners, you can still listen on any platform of your preference. It does not matter. It'll all be there. But again, thank you, Michelle. It's I've been actually very excited to do this video. So tell us, how long have you actually been a Viking enthusiast?
Well, I started a medieval festival, which ended up being pretty much Viking based in 2015. There wasn't much going on in the little town where I was living, and I thought it would be fun to have something for kids and for families and stuff. And so we talked the Sons of Fenrir out of Calgary into coming out and putting on a festival. We had no idea how it would turn out. I'd never done a festival before, and we ended up with about 10,000 people, so that was amazing since we come from a small town of 7,000. And so we were pretty happy with that. And I learned so much. And then, of course, after it was over, my kids were like, oh, we want Viking stories. And so we went to the library, and all they had were either the terribly historically inaccurate ones where they've all got horns on their helmets and they're all big and mean and everything, or else they were history based. So it was, this is all about Vikings, or here are the tales that the Vikings used to tell. And I'm like, there should be some sort of historically accurate Viking picture books that are just stories, not necessarily history or, the inaccurate views of Vikings that are so rampant today. And so, although a long time ago when the internet was fairly new, I remember doing history search on my family with my older brother, and we found that we were linked to Balder, which we thought was pretty cool. So we have Viking history in our family. Like, my family's from Sweden, a few generations back, but other than being related to a Norse god, then it's the most part it's been relatively recent. So over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been really getting into it.
Now, most people will ask, are you an actual practitioner of the Viking religion, whether it's Asatru or heathenry in itself, or is it just more of a lifestyle for you?
I am not a practitioner of the religion, no. But that being said, I believe that there's truth to be found in all religions and all cultures. And so I don't think that it has to be exclusive. Like, without practicing, you can still appreciate all of the all of the stories, all of the culture, all of the religion, and everything that it has to offer.
No, I mean, you were telling your story about, really trying to find books essentially kind of for kids. And
Yeah.
because of this lack of children's books of Viking mythology, Viking lifestyle, you decided to create your own book or write your own book and subsequently a music video to kind of go along with it. But, you know, how long did it take you to write Viking Lullaby? What is the background behind it, and how successful has it been?
Um, so I wrote it between the second and third year of my Viking um, medieval festival. So I put it on for 4 years, from 2015 to 2018, and then I passed it off to somebody else because I was moving back to Calgary. Um, and so I thought it would be fun to create a song to sing to the Vikings, because one of their big things that they like doing in the evenings, all the Viking reenactors sit around the fire and they like to sing. And so it might have even been between the first and second year. And anyway, so I sat down in the evenings and kind of played around with it, and it's hard for me to say how long things take, because I play with things a lot in my head, so I'm not necessarily writing a lot. And then when I sit down, pardon me, I play with the music, and once I hit the music, then I play around with it a bit, I leave it, I come back to it, and eventually just kind of, the muses are there and it writes itself. And so once I wrote it, I played it for the Vikings, and they loved it. And then I talked an amazing Viking reenactor into doing the art for me, and which was really important to me, because I wanted somebody who knew about Viking history and the accurate version of Viking history to do the art, so that you didn't have all of those historical inaccuracies. And she was amazing. She would say things like, "I'm sorry, we can't put a window in this picture because they didn't have windows in their houses," which was something that I wouldn't have thought of. Or I would say to her, "Is this the kind of buttons that they would have had?" And so she would go and research and say, "Okay, I've adjusted the buttons on the Midgard serpent snake that the child has as a stuffed animal, to make them more historically accurate." And so that was amazing to have her to work with, and she was just as passionate about the project as I was. And so she was amazing. And that's one of the things that people really notice, is they're like, "These are amazing, amazing pictures." And so,
I mean, you call it Viking Lullaby. Is it meant to
it
be a lullaby for children going to sleep, or can this really be read as, normal daytime hours and just as a story?
it can be. I actually, when my last baby, when I was pregnant, I was practicing it a lot, so that I could record it. And I recorded it when my baby was about like a month or two old. And so then I had it on my phone, and anytime the baby got upset, the kids would just put it on, and the baby would calm right down and go right to sleep. And so I do use it as a lullaby, but I've done readings of it at the local library that I used to live at. I mean, I didn't live at the library, obviously, but the library down the street. And I had kids that were like 12, 13, 14, and they loved it. And their parents said that they asked to listen to it at night, when they were going to bed. And it's just the idea of being able to connect with the Viking history. And so I've made reference to a lot of the Viking myths in it, so that if you are familiar with all of the myths, then you can go, "Oh, hey, I know about, even if it's Thor's hammer, you can say, oh, I know Thor's hammer because everybody knows Thor's hammer. Or I know about the Norns, or um, Odin's Odin's horse and Thor's goats and the stories about them. And so it references a lot of different things so that no matter how little or how much you know, there's something in it for everyone. And that's how I wanted it to be, so that it was accessible for everyone if they were just getting into Norse mythology, but also there were, you know, little things that they could connect to if they did know a lot more about it as well.
Now, you also created a music video to it, you know, nice looking studio. You have a lovely voice. I mean,
Oh, thank
really,
you.
I was like, okay, is this going to be kind of horrible or something? And I listened to it and I was like, I'm going to play this for my kids because I have 2 kids. And they were like, whoa, you know, they were just completely blown away. They were watching your video going,
Aw,
wow, that's cool, man. I like that kind of stuff, you know, because they're only 4 and 3 years old. So, I mean,
yes.
they have it there. But what led you to actually turn this into a music video? Because most people won't do that. They'll either write it or they'll sing, but they don't do both. What led you to do that?
I actually used to be a music teacher back in the day. I did elementary music. Um, and when I was doing my practicum, actually, I had kids do their own music videos. And so they did, mostly they were like spoofs on other music videos or that sort of thing. So I have a background in music and I've done this sort of thing before. And I just find that the most interesting things to watch on YouTube are ones that actually have a video that go along with them. And the kids, they love being a part of it. And so when our littlest one was born, we're like, oh, we can do some little video and she can be our little baby in our video. And then the kids, of course, get to wear their kits and go fighting and sit around the baby and play with her. And so it's just a lot of fun to make. And I don't know, it just seemed like the thing to do. So we did it.
Well, it turned out very lovely, I will say, and it is such an amazing song.
The gods they are in Asgard, the elves of light within their halls, the night warrior dream of battlefields, sagas yet to be lived, safe behind your shield. And so, my child, sleep, slumber in the deep, beneath the stars of giants' eyes, beneath the life tree in the skies.
Thank
And
you.
you know, do you plan on doing any more music videos?
Oh
Any
yeah.
more music?
I I'm kind of a voracious writer. Um, I have written 3 or 4 more Viking songs and about a couple dozen books that are not rhyming ones, just little ones that my kids are like, hey, you should write one about this. Write one for me about, you know, whatever. And so I do have a lot in the pipeline. It's just finding the time and connecting with the new artist, because the artist that I used before, she's moved on and not able to do anymore at this time. So it's just a question of getting from where I am right now to being able to start publishing some more books and more songs. Songs will probably come first because those are easier to do than the books.
No, you also have, of course, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, I believe, TikTok and YouTube, and you started making these little TikTok videos that you transfer also over to your YouTube channel. Anywhere from 25 seconds to 40 seconds, and how to pronounce the letters in
Yeah,
Norse.
some of them are things that I have trouble with, and I'm like, if I have trouble with it, other people are going to have trouble with it. So it's probably interesting for other people too.
So what led you to start doing all these videos? I know you started, doing videos pronouncing the letter J and the 9 realms and things like that. So it's like, it's almost like everyone is watching you progress on this path, and kind of putting that almost into song and into writings about this progression. So a lot of people are going to be asking, yeah, when does the autobiography come out? Because a lot of people will be like, hey, this is fun, because you would see where you're starting from and then where you're at now. And a lot of people love that, being able to see, hey, this person's a real person. They have the same issues we have. We can't pronounce this letter, and this person can't pronounce this letter. And it truly is amazing. So when is the autobiography coming out?
I remember when I was a kid reading Jim Morrison. He said in his, well, it was written in his biography, do you have enough, something about, do you have enough in your life to make a movie on? And every now and again I stop and I look at my life and I'm like, yeah, I could probably do it. But I have so many things I want to write, and it's just a question of finding all the time to do everything. So one day, but there's a lot I want to write first.
Do you plan on doing any form of academic writing, or are you going to continue doing more of the soft-hearted children's style books?
I actually have been doing some research. I find it very fascinating, the difference between the world that you and I grew up in and the world that everybody's growing up in today. My kids range in age from 20 months to almost 13. And so I'm seeing, everything from all of the technology and everything to, all of the joy of exploring outside and everything. And in the research I've been doing, it's crazy. Right now, the leading cause of death among kids from 10 to 14 in Canada is suicide. From 2015 to 2019, suicide rates amongst teens went up about 35%, and in girls it was 65%. The average teenager who uses their screen time between 5 and 7 hours a day has a 48% chance of being diagnosed with depression. And depression runs in my family. And so this is something that's like, I've got to worry about it because my kids are coming to that time in their life when it's either going to hit or it's not. And with all of the Viking history that I've looked into and the Viking reenactment, everything that is there is like the antithesis of what's wrong with today's society. So the average American spends 93% of their life indoors, which is absolutely ridiculous. When you are getting into Viking reenactment, whether it's just dressing your kids up and throwing them out with, a ice cream pail on their head and a foaming for a sword, or in full kit, either way, they're getting out, they're using their imaginations. The more kids use screens, the less they're able to access their creativity and their imaginations, the less interested they are in learning new things. And so I think it's really important to learn about the past to combat all of the problems that we're having in the present. And I mean, especially right now with the pandemic and everything crazy that's going on right now, you see people getting out a little bit more. You see people, making a little bit more of an effort. And even you go to the doctor and what are the things they tell you? get outside, get exercise, learn a new hobby, connect with people, music therapy, reading stories, all of that sort of thing. All of those things were the things that were so present in Viking culture. And so that's really fascinating to me, to look at how we can use all of the things from Viking culture and from Viking history to be able to overcome a lot of the problems that have been created by the overuse of technology today. So there may be a
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. And you know, with the pandemic out there, has made a lot of people realize how important nature is, and how important it is, not just to practicing heathens, pagans, witches, etc., but those to everyone. How much you know, you don't really value something truly until it's
until
gone,
you were.
right? You don't know what you got until it's gone, said Cinderella. Yes, the 80s rock band, not the cartoon. Uh, so if one wanted to kind of walk down this journey of Viking reenactment, like you so very well do, you know, how do they do it? You know, you're talking about connecting to people online and things like that, which has increased dramatically. But how does one actually start going down? Because one of the biggest things that people have is, oh, is this authentic? Did they have it during this time? Did they do it during this time? And in all my research, it's always been, hell, we don't actually know. All we can do is take a wild guess as to how they did it. And there's so many people that want to come in and slamming down the hammer going, no, this isn't actually authentic. How does somebody deal with that?
Well, I've done a lot of research. I actually took a class online through the University of Iceland a couple of years ago. Yeah, I know, hey? And so that gave me a lot of background information. But it's true, every archaeological dig that they uncover, they find out things that 5 years ago they didn't know. And so it's a question of what do you want to learn about it for? Are you one of those people who wants to learn and wants to become a pagan, wants to embrace the culture, embrace the religion? Then you go and you just start researching and just learn a little bit at a time. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the TikToks, is just say, here's a little bit of information at a time. You don't have to learn everything all at once. Just a little bit at a time. And there are people out there. And Viking, yes, Viking is not the correct word to refer to Vikings, because Viking is actually a verb. They would go a Viking, which meant to go raiding. They called themselves Norsemen, or the people of the North, and they weren't actually referred to as Vikings except by other people, right? And so, or recently. But so there's people who will come and they'll say, well, you can't call them Vikings because they weren't Vikings, because Viking is a verb. And I'm like, well, yes, I know, but you've also got the TV show of Vikings, and it's such a part of the, you know, everybody's culture and the popular culture, that you can't not use it. So it's finding the balance between being completely historically accurate and connecting to people where they are. And so if you want to do it, you can start one little thing at a time. Like, one of these days when I have time, my boy has outgrown all of his Viking stuff, and so I'm going to do a bit of a tutorial how to make, you know, quick and easy Viking stuff. You can go more with the medieval and do just a quick and easy T-tunic. It takes you 5 minutes and then your kid's ready to go. Or you can do a completely historically accurate one, which takes a lot longer. And so it depends. What do you want to do it for? Do you want to do it because you just want your kids to have some imagination, some stuff to do outside and to play and to learn a little bit? Then it doesn't have to be completely historically accurate. But the more you learn, the more you can integrate. So, you know, one little thing at a time and one little piece of information, and you just grow on it and add to it as you go along. That's my theory anyhow.
So where can they get your book Viking Lullaby on Amazon and all the other places that one buys books, or is it one specific area?
No, it's on Amazon, and if you get it on Amazon, be sure to leave me a lovely review. It is available as an ebook only on Amazon right now, and I think it's still on sale for like $1.99 or something. So if you want to download it, then that's a great way to do it. And then the hard copy, which we have right here, is available on Amazon, on Chapters, on a bunch of other places. So just look it up. And also this song is available on YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify, on a bunch of different streaming platforms. So just check it out, see if it's on yours.
Absolutely. With that being said, Michelle, thank you so very much for coming on the show. It was an honor and a privilege to do this auspicious episode with you.
Well, congratulations so much on your 1-year anniversary. That's really awesome. I know how much of a process the creative way takes, so that's really awesome. So congratulations.